Good morning, good morning, good morning, or almost good afternoon. I'm sorry I'm late again, but I went to a doctor's appointment this morning that was supposed to be like maybe 15 minutes, and we ended up being there for between that and doing a little shopping 2 hours. So sorry about that. I expected to be back by no later than 10:30, and I didn't make it till 11:30. It's almost 12 o'clock now. So listen up, all right? You got the troops made some arrests in Washington, D.C. Of course, they're not making any major arrests because they don't have guns. And those major characters aren't going down without a fight. Okay, so that's just, it's just that they're not allowed to carry weapons. So what good are they? Because they're trained in hand-to-hand combat. The gangs are trained in street fighting. Knives, bottles, whatever you want to find. Steel pipes, whatever they can get their hands on. That's what they're trained in using. What else? That's Trump and his little merry idea. Supposedly, Zelensky has said he's not giving up any territory because he doesn't want to. Because if he does, he will be giving Putin a springboard into further attacks. And I agree with him on that. I don't think he should give up any territory. And whatever they decide, that has to be done by the two parties involved, not Zelensky and Putin, not Trump. He does not get to make a decision on what gets given away and what doesn't get given away. It's not his country to decide that, okay? You can see that Trump likes to surrender. Now, he doesn't like to be aggressive. He likes to surrender. Speaking of surrendering, I understand the Texas Democrats that left the state are now thinking about coming back and settling this redistribution problem, and that's just them surrendering, which they're very good at, the Democrats. They gave up after the election, and they haven't come back at all, which means that they're probably very sympathetic to what's going on in this country, and they just don't want to admit it. They don't want to give Donald Trump any more than he's already got. And that's, I guess that's okay. I don't know, but I just think that politically speaking, they're a bunch of bullshit artists, both sides. And politically speaking, I think it's time for something else. And I don't mean Trump's decision to dictatorship. I think it's more about the parties redeveloping themselves. I don't think all Republicans are happy with what Trump's doing, but they're complacent. And that's the problem with America. America's had it so good for so many years that the slightest little thing goes wrong and they get hilarious. They get crazy. It's like they react to a tariff increase, and this is just an example. This isn't saying that the tariff increases aren't right or wrong. This is just a statement that as soon as they put up the tariff, it's going to go up. The stock market goes crazy. It doesn't want any part of that. And that's understandable, So what do you do then? You have to do something. So Trump will withdraw his. He sees what's happening and he withdraws his tariffs right away, and then the stock market reacts, and it's a game they're playing. The game's called manipulation. They're manipulating the stock market, who Trump says doesn't really mean anything anymore. Now what he wants to do is you won't see a monthly jobs report anymore. So by the time you find out, you'll know what the economy is, but the news media won't know what the economy is. But if you're living in it, you'll know what's going on. You always did. You didn't have to wait for somebody to tell you what was happening. Trump is blaming everything on false reporting and everything, and it's like when he was in office, it was great, But now the first time around, but now they're saying some bad things about him, and as soon as you say bad things about him, he's gone. He's ripping you apart. He's firing you. He's doing away with the bureau. He wants a police state. He can't handle a police state. I believe the troops in D.C. are there because he wants people to get upset with him. He wants people to go after them because then he can declare martial law based on a tiny little district in Washington. And that's what he'll do. And martial law means no 2026 elections, no midterms, no municipal elections, no nothing, anywhere. Means you're stuck with Trump until he decides to retire or somebody puts a bullet in his head. And then either way, you get Vance. And that's not something you want to look forward to either. The only way you solve this issue is if the Republican Party can turn its control over to the people instead of turning it over to the billionaires club, you know? There aren't that many millionaires and billionaires. Well, yes, there are. There are probably that many millionaires now, but there's not that many billionaires that the party can say that they're a party of billionaires, you know? It's not thousands upon or millions of billionaires. But they're not doing the Republican Party they're not doing the average person in the Republican Party any more good than they're doing the Democrats. You know, it's the general populace that suffers when these idiots decide that they know more than anybody else did. Okay? Trump thinks he's the smartest man on the planet. Claiming to have a 180 IQ. And I'm not sure who the smart. I think I forget. That's just not happening. Okay. I've heard his IQ is actually below the norm or just at the norm, and I'm above the norm. And so are most of my friends. But that doesn't make me any smarter than anybody else. It's just a test, you know. But with they keep coming up with Trump's cognitive decline. There are drugs to stimulate him for short periods of time, and I guess, you know, they're saying, well, he's making an ass out of himself. Well, most politicians sooner or later make asses out of himself. I read an article where Trump didn't know Alaska was a state. I believe that, because in order to do that, you had to know history, and in order to know history, you have to read it. Whether you read it online or in a book, he doesn't read. Now, does that mean I don't think he's a functional illiterate, but it's possible. He does, you know, put out a lot of tweets and stuff so he must know how to read. But there's just something bothered. He can't. He must have bad vision or something like that. You know, or maybe when he's doing his tweeting, he wears, you know, glasses or uses a magnifying glass or something. But something's wrong with him. And there's something wrong with Vance and a lot of the others too. They must be drinking some serious Kool-Aid in that state, that district. I've never seen and I agreed with this article or headline actually. I don't read the articles because I'm never sure what's in them. There are a couple out there this morning though, and I went to check them on. You know, your regular, as I told you, I went to check them on the regular news channels, NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, BBC. They don't exist. The stories don't exist. And the stories are the headline is so spectacular looking that if it was true, it would be all over the front pages of these various news agencies, New York Times, as well as the New York Times and what have you. You know, and it's not. So it's not that it's when the headline actually exists, but the story behind it is so minuscule and so unimportant. Nobody's paying attention. What they're doing is they're trying to drive clicks, and I told you about that. That's what YouTubers get paid by the click, and I'm not one of them because I don't do that really. I don't have a spectacular. I gave up putting up the information about what I'm talking about that day. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and that's my That's my title of my blog and my vlog, and then the rest of it is like just a man, just an old guy and his dog talking bullshit, and that's what it is. And my dog cut out on me this morning. Lucy doesn't want to talk to me anymore. I don't know what she had, because I left her here this morning after I took her for a walk. I just left, and she doesn't like that. She was left alone the other day for a while too. She doesn't like that, you know. It doesn't bother her. But I guess I don't pay enough attention to her when I am here, And I try, but sometimes it's difficult. Because she doesn't play. She won't chase anything. She won't play tug of war. She won't do anything. That's Lucy. And that's not the breed, so I'm hoping it's not affecting her health. But I try. Anyhow, what else is going on? Oh, by the way, this appointment this morning, I got it at 9:30. I got it at when did I get it? 9 o'clock this morning or something like that. They called us up, and the appointment became available, and it was a dermatologist, and I had already been there once this week, and they blew me off, so I figured I'd get it over with. I don't have to worry about it anymore, And all I have to do when I do these now is just listen to my wife complain about walking. God, I'm going to have to start getting her a cart when we go to the store. And my legs are horrible. They're just in horrible shape, But I have circulation problems. I can do something about that. But she can't do anything about her stuff. Anyhow, I don't know what else to talk about. Got a full slate of games this weekend. We'll talk about them on Saturday probably, if I can find any information out. What's going on? Let me see if I can see something on the. See if I can check out something here for a second. Don't go anywhere. I'm right here. Taylor Swift is and Kelsey or Jason Kelsey are still together. They're becoming the ultimate love couple for this generation, I guess. I don't know. For some reason, stars don't tend to stay romantic. I mean, she just releasing a new record, so she's going to be on the road again. Because you just don't release a record and it sells anymore. Because there's too many streaming services out there, so, what's going on? What's going on? They say that the number of ice flights is skyrocketing, but the planes are harder than ever to track, so we don't know where they're going. Trump's going to announce Kennedy Senator nominees. He hid Obama and Bush's portraits, put him in an obscure stairwell. He goes out and tells Goldman Sachs CEO to hire a new economist because the bank says that the consumers will pay the bulk of the tariff costs. That happens to be a fact, okay? And Trump can do whatever he wants about that, but it's not. The Department of Homeland Security is appealing to nostalgia with motifs of white identity. And as far as we can tell, based upon the location, not anything else, just the location of Jesus' supposed birth, if you believe all that, he is not white. Not black, but he's brown skinned. Because he's not, there are no cases of, the only time you see white people are in the paintings, that stuff, What else is going on? I go through the news as I'm talking to you because, oh, here's an interesting article now. I haven't read the whole article, but I understand the situation. The Trump war, trade war, has now made India and China move into a cautious embrace, which ain't good for the economy of the U.S., okay? By the time, I understand he wants to build factories and stuff and revitalize American manufacturing. By the time he gets around to do that, it comes to fruition, he'll be out of office. And some of those companies will be bankrupt. Because the tariffs, the amount of money that they're committing to building stuff, and it's just not going to happen. The technical aspects of it say it's just too hard to get people to work for them. And there was another article I was reading, I can't find it again. They take these headlines and they move them around and they're gone, Was an article about the father of AI is trying to tell people how they can survive here it is. The godfather of AI reveals the only way humanity can survive super intelligent AI. We can't survive it. There's not enough smart people out there to survive it. There's just, everybody's so greedy, they want to make this money, and AI makes, putting AI out there is making money for people. But if you reduce your workforce and you start with introducing poverty into the country, how do they turn around? How do they turn around and find people to buy their products? I don't know how that happens, Trump says he wants another meeting if things go well in Alaska. If things go well in Alaska, he's not going to be involved in the second meeting. Okay? Zelensky doesn't want him around, and I think Putin just likes to make fun of him. He's going to try and get him the Nobel Peace Prize. He should get the Nobel Bullshit Prize, He's good at that. He really, really is good at that. Both of them are. He's a politician. I mean, what the hell do you expect from a politician? Here we are. Alright, I gotta go. I've run out of bullshit, folks. Come on now. What do you think? I do this all day long? God. You're lucky I can get 15, 20 minutes of bullshit out there. None of it makes any sense, but it's great entertainment, I think. Anyhow, please subscribe to my channel. I should call it the Bullshit Channel, but I won't. Please subscribe to my channel, comment, like it, dislike it, whatever you want to do, but pay attention to it. I appreciate the last subscriber I got, who is a big Metallica fan, and anybody that's a Metallica fan, I love, okay, because I'm a big Metallica fan, I play Sandman at least once or twice on the weekends, and I play it at levels that hurt people. Okay, so have a good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow being Thursday, so take care.